Hi, and welcome to this quick tool review. This time around we'll be looking at the purchase I made from BangGood. It is a pair of task lights, and I looked at some that are sold in Travers and MSC Industrial, and you're talking $200 for a LED task light. So I don't know how good these are going to be, but they were $40 a piece with a mag base, which makes them really flexible, great when I'm shooting. Because I need to get light right in on the thing I'm shooting, and so it's not always convenient to do it, make it on stands. So I'm hoping the mag mounts will help me out there. Well, let's just open this guy up and take a look. So historically, BangGood has just shipped their stuff in bags without any padding. It looks like they've stepped up their game a little bit because they provided some padding. Because God knows that things aren't handled very well when they're shipped, so let's hope these survived okay. They certainly didn't put them in a box or anything. Okay. Kind of curious what they were going to do. These are 110 220 volt task lights, 5 watt LED supposedly, and they're separate. So it looks like they had the mag base in a separate box. They probably bought it from a different vendor. So they got banged up a bit during transport. They're really light, which probably would be in my favor. Looks like standard microphone stand sort of design. Wire running down the middle, that's nice. And 5 probably 1 watt LEDs. So let me put this guy together and we'll see what kind of light it gives. So they dig a little deeper here. The power supplies are built completely into the head of these lights, which is nice. They just have a 110 volt plug coming out without the 2 little holes that you normally see. They're solid. That's kind of interesting. And it looks like non-polarized, which probably makes sense with 220. These guys came in their own box and plastic bag, and on top of that they have anti-corrosion stuff on them. That's kind of a nice touch that they actually cared that much, or whatever vendor made this cared that much. So we'll take a look. The action's okay. It's not Noga quality, but it's not bad either. So here's with the lights on. Here's with the lights off. There's just one. There's just the other one, a little higher up. The mag base seems to work pretty well, and it'll definitely help me get a little bit of light in some tight spots around the garage. So I think it's going to be all right. I don't think it's the most amazing deal I've ever seen because they were $40, but the nice thing is there's no wall wart. A ton of these have a wall wart built into the design. These have a switch on top. The power supply is built in. It's 110 220, and interesting. It looks like it just threads together here. That's cute. Oh, well, that's not the greatest way to do it. Just power supply floating in there with some Kynar wrapped around it. Not the world's safest considering there's 110 in there. Although the 110 is sort of protected on this side, but yeah, if the Kynar film ever tore or got cut, that could be bad. So not the greatest design inside. I gotta say I'm sort of on the fence about these. Not the greatest, and they were $40, so I'm going to give a thumb sideways because I'm sort of mixed. I like the fact that everything's built in. I can, the adjustability is really good, so I can put light where I need it, you know, right where of course you need to have the mag base attached to something, but like this, like the other one is over here. But the inside, the way they did the power supply, not so great. And if you go and wrap it with electrical tape, it may overheat on you. So I don't know, maybe I should line the inside of this aluminum shell. So my first practical use was for my sliding bandsaw because there was no light back here. So this gives me a great opportunity to just stick this guy here. I may be able to mount it to the band. I haven't really decided. I added a 110 volt outlet on the side of the thing. Now they say that you're already sort of at the limit of the 20 amp circuit it's connected to. So they're saying 16. So obviously a little 5 watt bulb is not going to be a problem, but here's an example of how these lights can be really useful. So anyways, that's one use. As a comparison, I have already been using some task lighting that's clip-on style on my milling machine, and that's been used for all of my videos up to this point. But the positioning of these guys is kind of mediocre. They don't like to stay where they're at, and I've thought about tie wrapping some copper along the side, like some 12 gauge or 10 gauge copper wire to help stiffen them up. They're very useful, they just don't work particularly well. The clips aren't overly useful either because they are very limited as to what they can clip onto around the milling machine. Same with this guy. This one I just tucked up and it pretty much stays fixed. But I use task lighting all the time in my camera work so that you can see what I'm shooting. It's really helpful, so these new magnetic ones hopefully will give me another set of tools to use. That is, if they don't electrocute me. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it interesting. Hope to see you next time.